Obsessions are intrusive thoughts. There's many kinds of intrusive thoughts. The most common obsession that people tend to think about are contamination-related obsessions. These are things like, I wonder if I'll get sick, I wonder if I'll get cancer or I'll get AIDS, I wonder if I might throw up. Those are very common ones. Other ones that are actually very common are harm-related. So things related to, I might harm myself, I might harm somebody else, I might do something inappropriate with a child. These are actually very common ones and often very hard for people to talk about. Other obsessions that we often think about are things related to lucky numbers, lucky letters, and a very common one actually is something called a transformation obsession. A transformation obsession is a worry, an intrusive thought that you might wake up one day and somehow be different. I might be an immoral person, or I might wake up as the different gender, or also very commonly, I might wake up and have switched places with somebody else, and they will be living my experience and I will be living theirs. Everybody has obsessions. They're very common. Everybody has all of these different types of obsessions. What makes them OCD is that they tend to cause a significant amount of anxiety and distress, and they get stuck. And that's where people start to use compulsions to manage those behaviors. Compulsions are also very common. Everyone in the world has little rituals or behaviors that they do throughout the day, and they're very common. What makes them OCD, again, is that they wind up being the thing that you use to reduce the anxiety from the obsession. So compulsions, a very common one that people think of are washing of your hands, cleaning things, washing of your body in a ritualistic way, or ordering things in your daily life. Lots of other ones include checking. People will check the locks in their car doors or in their house doors. They'll check the burners on the stove. A very common one is people will drive down a bumpy street and worry that they've hit something, and they'll drive back over and over and over just to check. There's very common ones including sort of counting rituals or repeating rituals, things that they'll have to do in a certain pattern over and over again. A common one for children actually, and for lots of adults, is something called confessing or reassurance seeking. It means that they are telling someone else about the intrusive thoughts they're having, and just by getting it out in the open, they're reducing the anxiety of that thought. Or they might alternatively ask that person to reassure them that they won't wake up and be an immoral person, or they won't wake up as someone of the different gender, or they won't throw up. The very common one actually, and one that gets misdiagnosed or at least missed, is mental compulsion. So people are often doing lots of these different things, but they're doing them in their mind. And so we don't often see it, but they're doing self-reassurance, they're doing counting, they're doing checking, all of these things internally. And again, compulsions are very common. Everybody does them. But it's whether or not they are utilized to reduce the anxiety from an intrusive thought that makes them OCD.